You wake up to the sound of metal. Not loud, not sudden, just a quiet scrape somewhere to your left. Your head feels heavy. Your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth. The air is thick, damp, carrying the smell of sweat, stone, and something bitter you cannot name. Your cheek presses against rough fabric, cold, unforgiving. Somewhere nearby, someone is breathing too fast. Another voice is laughing softly. You try to move. The room shifts slowly into focus. Stone walls, iron bars, a narrow corridor lit by trembling gaslight. And then you hear it again. The metal. A key, turning somewhere just out of sight. If you're here for stories like this, quiet, dark, and real, consider subscribing, because tonight, this is only the beginning. That's when something cold passes through you. Not confusion, not yet. Something deeper. The feeling that this place already knows you, and you were never meant to leave it. You are not in a place of care. You are in London, 19th century, a place where people disappear behind locked doors and are not always meant to come back. A Victorian asylum. And now, you are here. You can hear the footsteps in the corridor. You can feel the walls closing in. Tonight, you are not watching this story. You are inside it. This is not a horror story. This is history.
The door that shouldn't open, you hear it again. A sound that doesn't belong here. Not a cough. Not a whisper. Not slow footsteps by your cell. This is different. A dull, empty thud. From below, you freeze. The stone beneath your feet feels wrong. Too thin. As if something is moving beneath it. You hold your breath. And for a moment, everything else in the ward disappears. No voices, no movement, no light. Just this sound. Again, a knock from under the floor. A chill runs down your spine. Because floors don't knock. Not in places like this. Not in places built to hold people. You look down. The stone is cracked, worn, dark stains between the seams. And suddenly you realize this place is older than it should be. Older than the walls, older than the iron bars, older than the people who work here, and maybe older than those buried beneath it. A scream breaks the silence. Not yours. Somewhere down the corridor. Sharp, short, cut off too quickly. You turn your head. The gaslight flickers. Shadows move along the walls like something alive. And then, footsteps, measured, calm, approaching you. You straighten up. You don't know why. Maybe it's instinct. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's because somewhere deep inside you know this place rewards silence. A figure walks past your cell. A man in dark clothes. Clean. Controlled. He doesn't look inside. Not yet. But his hand. His hand slides easily over the iron bars as he walks. Metal against skin. Slowly. Deliberately. As if counting. As if choosing. And for a second, you're sure he's stopped at your door. But when you look again, he's gone. The ward breathes around you. Yes, breathing. Not like a building. Like something alive. The beds move gently. The chains move. The fabric rubs against the stone. Someone nearby starts to mutter. Words you can't quite make out. But you hear one thing. Downstairs. A pause. Then, more quietly, they don't come back from downstairs. Your throat tightens. Downstairs. You look at the floor again. At the cracks. At the places where the stone sinks in a little. As if something has settled beneath it. Or moved. The nurse appears at the end of the corridor. A flashlight in her hand. The light flickers. She walks slowly, too slowly, as if she's listening for something, not up, down. She stops by the bed, leans over, whispers something to the patient. You don't hear the words, but you see the reaction. The man freezes, completely still, as if he's understood something definitive. And then, the sound again. Closer now. A dull thud. From under your feet. You step back. Your heel hits the bed frame behind you. The metal clanks softly. Too loud. Too abrupt. The nurse turns her head. For a moment, her gaze meets yours. And in that moment, you see it. Not cruelty, not madness. Something worse. Acceptance. She walks toward you. The lantern sways slightly. The light moves along the walls, over the bars, over your face. She stops right next to your cell. Doesn't open it. Doesn't speak. Just stares, as if measuring something you can't see. And then she says quietly, "Try not to listen." A pause. Long enough for the words to settle to what's down there. Your stomach clenches because she didn't deny it. She didn't say it was nothing. She said, "Don't listen." And tonight, for the first time, you understand something. This place doesn't just hold people, it hides something. You move closer to the bars. Slowly, carefully. You look down again, at the cracks, at the darkness between the rocks. And for a moment, you think you see movement. Blurry. Not completely. Enough. Enough to know. You're not alone. Your breath catches. Because now the question is no longer, what is this place? The question is, what's under it? And somewhere in the ward, a man begins to scream again. This time louder. This time longer. This time, no one tries to stop him. And beneath your feet, something answers. The doctor who doesn't look at you. The hallway's quieter now. Not quiet. It's never quiet here. There's always something. Breathing. Movement. A distant whisper that never becomes a voice. And underneath it all, something else. Something lower. You try not to listen. You remember what the nurse said. But that only makes it worse. You're sitting on the edge of the bed. The wood is cold. Uneven. Your hands are on your knees. You don't remember how you got here. It's blurry. There are fragments. The street, rain, voices talking above you, not to you. And then, nothing. A metallic sound echoes down the hallway. Keys. More than one. You don't move. No one moves. The entire ward seems to be holding its breath. He reappears. The same man as before. The one in the dark clothes. Only now you can see more. The coat. Neat. Too clean for this place. Gloves. Always gloves. Even here. Even in the midst of illness. He walks slowly. Thoughtfully. Every step is precise. He takes his time. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't look inside the cells. Not at first. He stops somewhere behind you. You hear it. A pause. A slight movement of fabric. Then, the door opens. Not yours. A few rooms down. You don't turn around. But you listen. The voice in the room. Weak, cracked, barely holding. I'm not crazy. Pause. Then again. I'm not. The rest dissolves into breathing. The doctor is silent. You hear movement. Pebbles. Skin against wood, a chair. And then, something strange. Not a scream. Not resistance. Just obedience. Too easy. As if the man already knows. The door closes. The keys move again. Closer now. You look up. You can't help it. And this time, he stops in front of you. For a moment, nothing happens. He stands there, still. As if you're not human. As if you're something to be examined. Catalogued. Then slowly, he turns his head and looks at you. His eyes are calm. Too calm. No anger, no pity, just observation. You open your mouth. You don't plan the words. They just come. I'm not crazy. The silence that follows is heavier than anything before. He studies your face, not your fear, not your voice, your eyes. And then he does something small, something almost imperceptible. He tilts his head, a little, as if considering, as if comparing you to something, or someone. He comes closer. You don't move. You can't. From his coat, he takes out a small object, polished, reflected, a mirror. He holds it in front of your mouth, close, very close. At first you don't understand, then you see it. You're breathing, barely noticeable, blurring the surface. He watches him, not you, breathing. A few seconds pass, long enough to feel something resolve. Then he lowers the mirror, slowly, and finally, he speaks. Not yet. 2 words, quietly, thoughtfully. Not yet. Your stomach clenches, because those words don't mean safety. They mean time. He turns away. He's done with you. But before he leaves, his hand touches the bars of your cell, just like before. A light push on the metal, and you hear it again. That faint sound, almost hidden by the rustling. A knock. From below. He stops, just for a second. And this time, you're sure. He heard it too. But he doesn't react. He doesn't look down. He doesn't admit it. He just keeps walking. The headphones disappear into the distance. The hallway breathes again. You sit there, frozen. Because now you understand something new. It's not just the patients who know about this sound. The doctors know too. And whatever is under this place, it's not a mistake. It's part of it. The man across the hall starts whispering again. Faster now. More urgent. They're listening, he says. They're waiting for you to stop moving. A pause, then quieter. And then they'll beat you up. You close your eyes, just for a moment. And tonight, you're no longer trying to understand this place. You're trying to understand the rules. Because in a place like this, rules are the only thing that keeps you alive. And you start to realize that you've already broken one of them. You listened, the one they bring. The room changes in the morning, not brighter, never brighter, just different. The gas light fades a little as the gray daylight filters weakly through the tall windows. It doesn't warm the room, it only accentuates it. The walls are worse in daylight. Now you can see the stains? Not fresh? Old? Charavati? As if time itself had been absorbed into the stone? You haven't slept? Not really? Every time your eyes close, you hear it? A knock? Sometimes far away? Sometimes so close you can feel it through the bed frame. And once, you thought you could hear breathing. From below, you sit still, watching, learning, because that's what this place makes you do. Not fighting, not running. Watch. The cart moves down the hall, wooden wheels, slowly, uncertainly. A nurse pushes it. Metal bowls clank softly with each step. Food, if you can call it that. She stops at each cell, pushes something, doesn't speak, doesn't look. When she reaches you, she hesitates, just for a second. Then she leans a little closer, too close. Her voice is barely audible, a whisper. They brought someone in last night. You can feel it, a change in the air. New. A new person means something. You don't know what yet, but it's important. Where? You ask. She doesn't answer right away. Instead, her eyes quickly drop to the floor, and then back to you. Not here, she says. Your stomach clenches. Not here. Before you can ask more. She moves on. The cart creaks away, leaving you with something worse than fear. Questions. Time passes. You don't know how much. There are no clocks here, only rhythms. Breathing, footsteps, keys, and then the door at the far end of the hallway opens. This time, loud, heavy, not like before. 2 men enter, Orderlies. Wide. Quiet. Their grip on the man between them is tight. A new patient. He struggles. Not hard. Not wildly. But enough. Enough to show that he still believes in choice. "I'm not angry," he says. His voice cracks. Raw. Desperate. No one answers him. You lean closer to the bars. You can't help yourself. Because this is the first time you've seen anyone arrive. And something about it feels wrong. Not just fear. Something deeper. He is not like the others. His clothes are clean. Not yet replaced. Not yet stripped of their identity. His eyes are clear. Focused. Aware. Too aware. "I know where I am," he says. To no one. To everyone. "I know what this place is." A pause. "And I know what they do." The hallway freezes. Even the nurse stops. Because that's... People don't talk like that here. People whisper. People break down. People fade away. They come without knowing. One of the orderlies holds him tighter. "Hush," he says. But the man doesn't stop. "You're being sent down," he continues. A wave passes through the ward. Not loudly, but you can feel it. Because now, everyone is listening. "They say it's a cure," he says. A quiet laugh, broken. But it's not like that. The orderlies move faster now, trying to silence him. But he says one more thing, one sentence. "They're burying those who still speak." And then, he's gone. He drives past your cell, disappears down the corridor behind you. The door closes again. The silence returns. But it's not the same silence. This silence is heavier. Because now, you can't imagine it. It's down there. And people aren't coming back. You slowly sit back down. Your heart is calm. Too calm. Because something has changed. Before, this place was a mess. Now, it has a direction. Down. The man across from you begins to cry. "Quiet. Quiet. Don't say that," he whispers. To himself. To no one. They can hear. You look at the floor again. Cracks. Dimples. Places where the stone seems thinner. And suddenly, you understand something new. This place wasn't built to hold the living. Not really. Again, the faint sound reaches you. Not a knock this time. A creak. Slowly, it's stretching. From below. You freeze. Because this time, it's not an accident. It's moving. And it stops. Right below you. It takes your breath away. Because now, the question is no longer, what's down there? The question is, did they bring someone in last night? Did something wake up? And tonight, you're still here. You listen. You wait. You try not to move. Because in this place, movement could be what they'll notice. And you begin to understand. Being noticed is the most dangerous thing of all. The street where it all began. The smell reaches you before the memory does. Faint at first, then stronger. Rotten. Sweet. Wrong. You close your eyes. And suddenly, you are no longer here. You are standing outside. The street. Narrow. Crowded. Wet stone underfoot. London. The air is full of smoke and something worse. Not a disease, not yet. Something is waiting. You don't remember walking here, but you remember this place. Because this is where it all began. A cart drives past you. The creak of wood. The wheels are uneven. Covered. Always covered. But the fabric shifts a little. Somehow enough. The hand. Stillness. You look away. Because in this city, you quickly learn where not to look. The man next to you speaks without turning his head. They say it's from the water. A pause. But I don't believe it. You look at him. He looks normal. Too normal. I think it's from the people, he says. And then he walks away. You move forward. The street narrows. The buildings lean inward, blocking out the sky. A child runs past you, laughing, too loud, too free. And then he stops. leans forward, and vomits. Not food, not liquid, something less. You step back, because now you understand. This is no ordinary illness. The woman screams. From behind the door, you turn around. The man is lying on the floor. His skin, gray, not pale, gray. His fingers clench, tense, unnatural. The doctor kneels beside him, not in a hurry, not panicking, watching. He lifts the man's eyelid. Then, he holds something small up to his lips. A mirror. The same. The man's chest moves. Barely. The doctor waits. He counts. And then, slowly, he shakes his head. But he doesn't say the word. Nobody here says it. Because in this city, death isn't always inevitable. Historical shock scene. A woman on the next street wakes up in a coffin. It happens more often than people admit. The disease comes quickly. Too quickly. Bodies go cold. Breathing becomes invisible. And sometimes they bury people who aren't there yet. In the 1800s, some coffins were built with bells, ropes tied to the fingers, just in case. But not everyone could afford it. And some never had the opportunity. You open your eyes, your back, to the mental hospital. The smell is still there, faint, but real. You swallow, because now you understand something else. This place, this mental hospital, didn't start here. It started outside, on streets like these, with sick people, and then with people who were afraid. The sound pulls you back. The corridor. Movement. Two orderlies again, carrying something. This time they're not struggling. Stillness. Too still. The body. Covered, but not completely. You see a hand. Fingers clenched. As before, gray, your chest tightens. Because now you know what this means. They move past your cell. To the far end. To the door. The one that leads down. You move closer to the bars, slowly, carefully. Because now, you're not just watching. You're learning. You're tracking. You're surviving. The door opens. A draft of colder air rises. Damp. Heavy. And from somewhere below, you hear it. Not a knock this time. Not a scraping. Something different. A sound that shouldn't be there. A breath. Your hands tighten on the bars. Because now, past and present begin to merge. The streets, the illness, bodies, and everything that waits beneath this place. The door closes, the sound fades, but the feeling remains. And tonight, you begin to understand the truth. This is not just a place where the sick are brought. This is a place where the city sends what it doesn't want to see and what it doesn't want to remember. And beneath your feet, something remembers everything. Fear of being buried alive. You don't sleep. Not after what you saw, not after what you heard. The ward slowly moves around you, but something inside you has changed. You're not just afraid of this place anymore. You're afraid of what will happen when this place decides you're done for. The man across from you sits perfectly still. Too still. You've been watching him for a long time. You don't know how long. Time dissolves here. His chest barely moves. His eyes, half open. Not a blink, not a movement. Nothing. And yet, no one comes for him. No doctor, no orderly, no one. You lean in closer, because now, you're starting to understand something dangerous. Here, silence is not safety. Silence is a question. A nurse walks by. You call out. Quiet. This man. She stops. Doesn't look at you. What about him? You hesitate, because once you ask, you can't stop asking. Is he dead? A long pause. Then, she turns her head slightly. Absolutely enough. And you see it again. The same expression. Not fear, not anxiety, routine. We're waiting, she says. Your stomach clenches. For what? Another pause. Just to be sure. She walks away. And suddenly, you understand something that pierces you more deeply than anything before. Death here is not instantaneous. It is being watched, measured, asked. You look back at the man. Still. And then it happens. So small you barely notice it. A twitch, his finger, just once. You freeze. Because now, he hasn't disappeared, not yet. And yet, no one comes. Historical detail. Dark loop of curiosity. In Victorian times, doctors feared one thing more than illness. Not death. A false sense of death. There were no machines. There were no monitors. There was no certainty. Only signs. Breathing. Pulse. Skin. And sometimes, they all disappeared before the person actually did it. You grip the bars tighter, because now you understand the true danger of this place. This is not madness. This is a mistake. The footsteps approach. Slowly. Measured. The doctor. You will recognize him before you see him. Rhythm. Control. He stops by the man's cell. Finally. He kneels. Not urgently, not worried. After the procedure. The mirror again. Placed at your lips. You lean closer. Hold your breath. Watch. Wait. A second passes. Nothing. 2. Nothing. 3. A faint mist. Barely visible. But there it is. Alive. The doctor watches. Longer than before. Then he takes the mirror away and says quietly, "Get him ready." Your chest tightens. Get him ready. Not to save him. Not to help him. Get him ready. The paramedics arrive quickly. Too quickly. As if they've already been waiting. They lift the man. His head falls to the side. His eyes, still open, still conscious, but unable to speak. You feel it. A wave. Cold. Heavy. Because now, you understand something you can't ignore. Here, being alive isn't enough. You have to be seen alive. They carry him past your cell. Closer this time. Close enough that you can see his face. His lips move. Barely. No sound. But you know what he's trying to say. Because you said it too. I don't. They lead him to a door. The one at the end. The one that leads down. It opens. The same cold air rises. Now it's heavier. More real. And this time, you hear it clearly. Not an imagination. Not an echo. A voice. From below. A whisper. And then, a knock. The door closes, and it's gone. You slowly back away. Because now, there's no doubt left. Whatever's happening here, it doesn't start with madness. It starts with uncertainty. And it ends somewhere beneath your feet. And tonight, you're still breathing. But you're starting to realize it might not be enough. Under the floor, the air changes again. You notice it before you know it. Colder. Heavier. As if something below has been disturbed. You sit still. You listen. The room seems quieter, but not safer. Because now, you know where the sound is coming from. Down below. And for the first time, you begin to wonder, what's holding it back? A faint vibration runs through the floor. Sticky. Almost like breathing. You pull your legs closer. Instinctively. Because your body understands something your mind still refuses to accept. This place is not still. It's changing. A voice breaks the silence. Don't sleep. You turn. The man across from you. The one who whispers. His eyes are wide. Too wide. Why, you ask? He leans forward, grasping the bars. They come when it's quiet, he says. A pause. When everyone stops moving. Your chest tightens. Who? You ask. But he doesn't answer. Instead, he looks down, at the floor. A slow scrape moves beneath you. Closer than before. And this time, it doesn't stop. It spreads. From one side of the room to the other. As if searching for something. You hold your breath. Because suddenly, you're afraid to make a sound. Historical shock scene. In some Victorian mental institutions, the buildings were not meant for healing. They were adapted, repurposed, old structures, basements that were once used for storage, or worse. In crowded cities, the bodies didn't always leave the premises immediately. Sometimes, they stayed. Downstairs, disappeared from sight, until someone came for them. You open your eyes. The sound is still there, still moving. Footsteps interrupt him. The doctor again. But this time, he's not alone. Beside him walks another man, older, gray hair, weary eyes. They stop near the center of the ward. You speak softly. You strain to hear. "Too much," the older man says. The doctor doesn't answer right away. "We can't keep stalling," the older man continues. A pause. "And those below?" The doctor interrupts him. "Don't discuss it here." Your stomach clenches. Those below. Not bodies. Not patients. Something else. The older man looks around. Unnerving. Because even here, even in the midst of the madness, there are things that shouldn't be talked about. They move toward the door. The door. The one you now understand better than anything else in this place. The doctor reaches for the handle. And for a moment, he hesitates. Not fear. Calculation. Then, he opens it. The rising air is different this time, colder, sharper, alive, and then you hear it. More clearly than ever before. Several sounds. Not one. Many. A shift. A tug. A breath. That belongs to no one person. Your hands grip the bars tighter. Because now, there's more than one thing down there. The doctor walks in. The older man follows him. The door stays open. A little. Enough. And for a moment, you see it. Not all of it. Just enough. The stairs. Narrow. Descending into the darkness. Something moves below. Too fast to understand. Too wrong to ignore. The door closes. The sound stops. Instantly. As if whatever is below knows when it is being watched. The ward exhales. People start moving again. The whispers return. The chains shift. But now something is different. Because now, you no longer guess. It's below. There are things there, and the doctors aren't afraid of them. They control them. The man across from you speaks again. Quietly. "They weren't always like this," he says. You look at him. "Like what?" A long pause. Then, he answers. "Alive." Your breath stops. Because now, the question changes again. Not what's down there, but what happened to them. And tonight, you're closer to the answer than you should be. The doctor comes down. This time, the door stays closed longer, long enough for the ward to go around it. No one speaks loudly. No one moves quickly. Even a whisper feels cautious. Because now, everyone knows where the doctor is. Downstairs. You sit closer to the bars. Not too close. Never too close. But close enough to see the door clearly. Because tonight, you are watching them. Time drags on. You measure it in breaths, in steps, in the slow fading of the gaslight. And beneath it all, nothing. No knocking, no scraping, nothing. This is worse. The man across from you notices it too. "They're quiet," he says. You nod, because now you understand. The silence here is never empty. That means something is happening. A sudden sound breaks it, a metallic thud, from below, louder than before. Not by chance, not searching. An answer. You freeze. Because now, you know the difference. Before, it was movement. Now, it's a reaction. Another thud, closer to the door. And then, a voice. Indistinct. Not words, but something like speech. Your chest tightens. Because it's not just a sound, it's intention. Footsteps. Now fast. From within. The door handle shakes. And then, they open. The doctor comes out. But something is wrong. Not with his clothes. Not with his hands, with his gait. Faster. Less controlled. The man follows him. He doesn't look at anyone. Not even the patients. The doctor closes the door behind him. Exactly. Finally. And immediately. The sound stops. The ward breathes again. But now, you see it. Something has changed. The doctor turns. His gaze glides around the room. Not watching. Searching. And then, they stop. At you. Your stomach clenches. Because this time, it's different. Before, he looked at you like an object. Now, he looks at you like a solution. He walks towards your cell. Slowly again. But not so slowly. More focused. You don't move. You can't. He stops in front of you. Closer than before. Too close. You heard, he says. Not a question. Your throat tightens. You hesitate. Because now, the rules are no longer clear. If you deny it, he might know. If you admit it, you might be a part of it. I don't understand what you mean, you say. Wrong. You feel it immediately. He tilts his head again. The same small movement. And then, he smiles. Just barely. That's a shame, he says. He reaches for his coat. Not the mirror this time. Something different. A small notebook. He writes something, quickly. And then, he closes it. You should rest, he says. Your stomach clenches. Because now, you understand those words. Rest. It means to wait. He turns, starts to walk away. And then, he stops, without looking back. He says one more thing. They're more active when new patients arrive. A pause. And you just arrived. Your chest tightens. Because now, you're not just watching anymore. You're part of the scheme. He's leaving. The keys disappear into the distance. The chamber returns to its rhythm. But not for you. Because now, everything is connected. Sound. Doors. People disappearing. And time. You look down at the floor again. And for the first time, you feel more than just fear. You feel something else. Attention. As if something below has noticed you. A soft knock answers that thought, right under your feet. And tonight, you're no longer trying to remain unnoticed. Because maybe it's too late. The water they trusted. The chamber now feels tighter, not smaller, but closer. As if the walls had tilted inward during the night. You sit still, you listen. The sound under the floor has changed again. You don't move, you don't search, you wait. A drop falls somewhere in the corridor. Water. You hear it again. Drips. Pause. Drips. And suddenly, you remember something. Not from here. From the past. A pump. A crowd. People gather with buckets. Because the water was supposed to be safe. You close your eyes. And your memory sharpens. The street. Wide. Busy. Voices overlap. Footsteps hurrying. And in the center, the pump. People wait. Trusting. You come closer. You don't remember how you decided to move. But you're there, standing among them. A woman fills her bucket. Her hands tremble slightly. Not from fear, from urgency. She drinks. Right here. And for a moment, nothing happens. Then, she coughs. Once. Twice. Then, she falls. The crowd shifts. Not panic. Not yet. Repetition. Because no one understands what they're seeing. Historical shock scene. In 1854, in a place called Broad Street, people trusted the water. They thought it was cleaner than the river, safer than air. But it carried something invisible. Cholera. And within days, hundreds fell ill. So fast that bodies began to turn up before the cause was understood. Some died within hours. Others looked dead and became dead. You open your eyes. The hospital turns back. The IV is still there, The IV, pause. The IV, you look down the hall. The bucket is against the wall. Water inside. Quiet. Still. The patient next to you whispers, "They stopped giving us this." You turn around. "Why?" He smiles. Weakly. "Because they don't know what it does." Your chest tightens. Because now you understand something deeper. The disease on the outside has haunted the people on the inside. And this place, this mental hospital, was never meant for that. Footsteps approach. The nurse again. But slower this time. More carefully. She stops by the bucket, looks at it, doesn't touch it. Then she knocks it over with her foot. The water spills across the stone floor, runs into the cracks, disappears. You feel it immediately. A shift. Under your feet. The sound returns. Not a thud. Something sharper. More urgent. You step back. Because now you understand something terrible. It's reacting to the water. The nurse hears it too. Her face tenses. For the first time. You see fear. "Stand back," she says. "Not to you, to everyone." But it's too late. The sound spreads. It moves faster than before. From one side of the room to the other. As if something from below is following it. The patient begins to scream. Not from above. From below. It takes your breath away. Because this sound, human. You move closer to the bars. You can't stop yourself anymore, and for a moment, you see him. Through the cracks. Movement. Hands. Reaching. Then, darkness again. The nurse steps back, trembling. "They should have sealed him," she whispers. Your stomach clenches. Because now, the truth begins to take shape. This place was never meant to contain madness. It was meant to contain something else. Something brought inside, from outside, from the water, from the city. The dripping stops. Silence returns. But now, this is worse. Because you know what lies beneath that silence. And tonight, you begin to understand. The shelter doesn't protect the city. It protects the city from what's inside. And you, inside with it. The one they bring. The room changes in the morning, not brighter, never brighter, just different. The gas light fades a little as the gray daylight filters weakly through the tall windows. It doesn't warm the room, it only accentuates it. The walls are worse in daylight. Now you can see the stains? Not fresh? Old? Charavati? As if time itself had been absorbed into the stone? You haven't slept? Not really. Every time your eyes close, you hear it? A knock? Sometimes far away? Sometimes so close you can feel it through the bed frame. And once, you thought you could hear breathing. From below, you sit still, watching, learning, because that's what this place makes you do. Not fighting, not running. Watch. The cart moves down the hall, wooden wheels, slowly, uncertainly. A nurse pushes it. Metal bowls clank softly with each step. Food, if you can call it that. She stops at each cell, pushes something, doesn't speak, doesn't look. When she reaches you, she hesitates, just for a second. Then she leans a little closer, too close. Her voice is barely audible, a whisper. "They brought someone in last night." You can feel it, a change in the air. New. A new person means something. You don't know what yet, but it's important. "Where?" you ask. She doesn't answer right away. Instead, her eyes quickly drop to the floor, and then back to you. "Not here," she says. Your stomach clenches. "Not here." Before you can ask more. She moves on. The cart creaks away, leaving you with something worse than fear. Questions. Time passes. You don't know how much. There are no clocks here, only rhythms. Breathing, footsteps, keys, and then the door at the far end of the hallway opens. This time, loud, heavy, not like before. 2 men enter, orderlies, wide, quiet. Their grip on the man between them is tight. A new patient. He struggles. Not hard. Not wildly. But enough. Enough to show that he still believes in choice. "I'm not angry," he says. His voice cracks. Raw. Desperate. No one answers him. You lean closer to the bars. You can't help yourself. Because this is the first time you've seen anyone arrive. And something about it feels wrong. Not just fear. Something deeper. He is not like the others. His clothes are clean. Not yet replaced. Not yet stripped of their identity. His eyes are clear. Focused. Aware. Too aware. "I know where I am," he says. To no one. To everyone. "I know what this place is." A pause. "And I know what they do." The hallway freezes. Even the nurse stops. Because that's... People don't talk like that here. People whisper. People break down. People fade away. They come without knowing. One of the orderlies holds him tighter. "Hush," he says. But the man doesn't stop. "You're being sent down," he continues. A wave passes through the ward. Not loudly, but you can feel it. Because now, everyone is listening. "They say it's a cure," he says. A quiet laugh, broken. But it's not like that. The orderlies move faster now, trying to silence him. But he says one more thing, one sentence. "They're burying those who still speak." And then, he's gone. He drives past your cell, disappears down the corridor behind you. The door closes again. The silence returns. But it's not the same silence. This silence is heavier. Because now, you can't imagine it. It's down there. And people aren't coming back. You slowly sit back down. Your heart is calm. Too calm. Because something has changed. Before, this place was a mess. Now, it has a direction. Down. The man across from you begins to cry. "Quiet. Quiet. Don't say that," he whispers. To himself. To no one. They can hear. You look at the floor again. Cracks. Dimples. Places where the stone seems thinner. And suddenly, you understand something new. This place wasn't built to hold the living. Not really. Again, the faint sound reaches you. Not a knock this time. A creak. Slowly. When the city can't keep up, the air changes the moment the door opens. Not colder, not just colder, deeper. As if the air itself belongs to another place. You feel it in your chest. Heavy. Pressing. The orderlies don't hesitate. They lead you forward. Down. The stairs are narrower than you imagined. Stone walls on both sides. Close. Too close. The light from the lantern barely reaches the steps ahead. And behind you, the door closes. The sound from above disappears instantly. No voices, no footsteps, no ward, just you, and what awaits below. Every step is heard, louder than it should be, as if the space below is bigger than the building above. You try to count the steps. 1, 2, 3. You lose track, because the descent feels wrong, too long. The air is getting thicker, damp, rotten, not just decay. Something older. A sound reaches you. Not a knock. Not a scrape. Breathing. Plural. Your body reacts before your mind. Your muscles tense. Your breath shortens. Because now you can't imagine it anymore. They're here. The paramedics stop. Down below. The lantern rises a little. The light spills forward. And for the first time, you see it. Not a room. Not a cellar. Space. Wider than expected. Lower. Uneven stone. Figures move in the darkness. Slowly. Unsteadily. You try to focus. To understand, but your mind resists. Because what you see doesn't fit. Historical shock scene. During the worst outbreaks in Victorian London, the city couldn't keep up with the dead. Hospitals overflowed. Workhouses overflowed. And sometimes bodies were put wherever there was room. Basements, warehouses, unmarked areas under buildings, not always buried immediately, not always disappeared. You feel it now. The truth. Some of them were never meant to stay here. The lantern moves again, closer, and now you can see them clearly. People. Not quite still. Not quite alive. Their movements are slow. A pause. As if something inside them is trying to remember how to move. It takes your breath away, because now you understand the sound. A knock, a scraping. It was never one thing, it was many. The figure comes closer, uncertainly, dragging one leg. Her eyes, open, but not focused. Your heart is pounding, because now you can see it. This isn't madness. This is something else. The doctor steps forward, calm again, controlled. They don't understand their condition, he says. Condition. The word is pronounced incorrectly. They respond to movement, he continues. Your stomach clenches. Because now, everything is connected. Sound, choice, patterns. They remember her fragments, the doctor says. Fragments. Being alive. A hand reaches out to you. Slowly. Trembling. You instinctively step back. The orderlies hold you in place. They're not dangerous, the doctor says. A pause. Then, quietly, if they're not disturbed. Your breathing stops, because now you understand the last rule. Movement. What they react to. The reason the ward teaches calm. The reason people disappear. The lantern flickers. The shadows change. And suddenly, one of them moves faster. Too fast. Toward the light. Toward you. The orderlies tighten their grip. The doctor raises his hand. Back. The movement slows. Stops. But not completely. Because now, they're watching you. All of them. And tonight, you understand what others above don't. The asylum was never built to treat the insane. It was built to contain what the city created. And what the city couldn't bury. The lantern dims. The shadows grow deeper. And the knock returns. Not from below. From all around you. Sound under the floor. The sound returns. But now, you understand it. It's no longer under you. You're under it. The knocking surrounds you. Not from one place. From many. Irregularly. And then suddenly, quickly, as if trying to communicate something, you stand there, stunned. Your body tenses. Because now, you know what happens when you move. The doctor is watching you. Not worried. Interested. Now you hear it differently, he says. Not a question. A conclusion. You swallow. Because he's right. Before, it was sound. Now, it's meaning. Slow movement in the darkness. Closer. One of them. The one who reached out to you. He takes another step forward. Not quickly. Not aggressively. Purposefully. His gaze settles on you, and then it stops. The thump beneath your feet sounds again. Once, the figure reacts. It turns slightly. Then, another thump. Twice. He moves. One step. Your breath catches. Because now, you see it. They react to the sound. The same sound you heard above. The same sound that brought you here. The doctor comes closer. They're coming after him, he says. Your chest tightens. What's that? You ask. A pause. Then, he answers. The signal. Your thoughts race. Because now, it's all connected. Knock, choice, movement. Those who listened, those who noticed. They weren't chosen by chance. They were chosen because they could hear it. The return of the penetration hook. In the beginning, you heard a sound under the floor. Knock. You thought it was a coincidence. You thought it was something hidden. But now, you understand. It wasn't hidden. It dragged. Your grip tightens. Because now, a new fear is taking shape. Not, what is this place? But, why could you hear it? The figure moves closer again. The knock is heard again. And this time, you feel it. Not in the floor. In your chest. A vibration. Faint. But real. Your breathing becomes uneven, because now you understand something worse than anything before. It's not just calling to you. You are a part of it. The doctor watches carefully. They are starting to react, he says. Reacting. To what, you ask? He studies you. To recognition. Your mind is torn around the word. Recognition. What? The figure is close now. Too close. Its hand slowly rises, reaches out, and for a moment, you don't move, because something inside you wants to understand. The knock comes again, and your body reacts, not with fear, with alignment. You take a step forward. The orderlies hesitate, just for a second, because this wasn't expected. The doctor doesn't stop you. He watches. The figure's hand touches yours, cold, but not lifeless. And in that moment, you see it. Not clearly, not completely. A memory, not yours. The street, water, the disease. And a moment, just before everything stops, your breath catches. Because now, you understand the last fragment. They are not separate. They are not something else. They are what remains. And the sound, the knock, is not a warning. It is a continuation. And tonight, you are no longer just hearing it. You are responding to it. Between life and silence, the touch continues, long after the hand is withdrawn, cold, but not empty. You stand there, between the doctor, between the others, between who you were and who you are becoming. The knock continues. But now, it is no longer around you, it is within you. Faint, measured, like a second heartbeat. The doctor watches intently, not surprised, not frightened. Now you see, he says. You don't answer, because there is nothing more to say. Everything is connected. The street, water, sickness, those who have fainted, but not completely gone, those who were brought here, not to be cured, to be kept in check. The final historical disclosure. In Victorian London, cholera spread faster than anyone could understand. Bodies failed quickly, but not always completely. Some patients fell into a state that baffled doctors. Breathing was too weak to be seen. Pulse was too weak to be felt. Skin was cold. Movement was gone. They were called dead. But not all of them were dead. Without certainty, they were taken from the living, and placed where they would not disturb the city. Down below, your breathing slows, because now you understand the true purpose of this place. The asylum was never built for madness. It was built for uncertainty, for the space between life and death, between movement and stillness, between breathing and silence. The shapes around you change again, not chaotically, not violently, controlled. Response to the rhythm, your rhythm. The pounding in your chest becomes clearer, stronger. You try to take a deeper breath, but the breath doesn't come. Not completely. Your body feels lighter, detached. Not pain, something else. Absence. The doctor comes closer. This is where they stay, he says quietly. Staying. Not living, not dying. Staying. You look at the stairs behind you, up, to the ward, to the living, and for a moment, you think about it. About moving, about running, but your body doesn't respond. Because now, you understand the last rule: stillness is not the end. It is a transition. The knocking subsides, and then matches the movement around you. Not separately, not distant, connected. The figures no longer reach for you, they stand beside you, among you. Because now, you are no other. You are not watching. They are not taking you. You are already here. Upstairs, the hospital continues to function. Patients whisper. Doctors watch. Doors open and close. And down below, nothing escapes. Not the sick, not the forgotten. not those who were never meant to stay. The lantern flickers for the last time. Shadows settle, and the sound turns into silence. And tonight, you are no longer afraid of what is under the floor, because you are no longer above it. You are part of it. Between breath and silence, between life and something that continues after it. This is not a horror story. This is a story.